Hey guys, today's January 2nd, and so that means we're in Galatians chapter 2. Galatians chapter 2 starts off with Paul giving the reason why he came. Once again, the Judaizers, the people that are infiltrating the church, adding to the gospel, are kind of trying to tear Paul down. And so he reminds the Galatian church why he came there. He studied, he did all these things. He waited 14 years to come there. When he did, he was ready. And so when he came, he didn't come by himself. He came with a young man named Titus. Titus was pretty much the spiritual child of Paul, not his real son, but basically a son that he almost adopted or took under his wing and was training him to be a pastor. And he used him as an illustration that Titus was the perfect illustration. He wasn't a Jew. He didn't do all the things that the Jews in Galatia were saying that they had to do to be saved, but yet Titus was saved. He was a Gentile that was saved solely through the faith in Jesus Christ. And so Paul uses Titus as that example. And he also goes on and talks about his commission, where he met with Peter and with James, and they saw grace in him. They saw that he was saved. They kind of gave them their blessing, and so it moved on. But what's interesting in chapter 2 is in chapter 2 we see that when he comes to Galatia, he instantly calls out Peter. His name is Cephas, but that's Peter the apostle. And Peter is basically not doing what Jesus left him doing. He was doing what he was doing with the Gentiles, and then he was kind of changing the message when he was meeting with the Jews. And he was kind of living this kind of two-way life. And so Paul says he calls him out on it. He opposes him on it. He calls him out and says that he's wrong, and Peter agrees with him. Peter understands, you're right, Paul, I understand. I've been living this life. I'm so sorry. And so Paul kind of gives a defense. He kind of talks about these things with using Peter as an illustration, one of Jesus' disciples who was slightly misled with the gospel, and even he got it wrong. So it's okay that the church of Galatia got it wrong, but we have to be like Peter to understand where they failed, that they need to understand that and they need to move on. It's only faith in Jesus Christ, not anything else, not in the Old Testament laws, not in anything else, not in any other new laws that people say, but it was only in Jesus Christ. And he finishes chapter 2 with a very familiar little passage there with the idea. It says that he's crucified with Christ. And that phrase simply means that he has died with Christ. When he accepted Jesus Christ in his life, the old is dead and God creates a new spirit. And that helps Paul to help the Galatians to understand that their old way of life, the Jewish way of life, all the laws, all the Old Testament, all the things that they feel like they had to do to work to salvation, all of that is dead. It's only in their true faith that they can experience salvation. Much like to us today, a lot of times we experience that we feel like we have to do so many good things. And good things are great. James tells us it proves our faith when we do great and godly things. But at the end of the day, none of those good things are for salvation. It's only the faith in Jesus Christ, that he died on a cross, that we have salvation. Guys, we thank you so much for sticking with day 2. Hang in there. We can do this together. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.